Good morning. Welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. This is one of our public roundtables. And, you've been here before, obviously, and some of you are joining for the first time. So the mission 1 Million by 1 Million is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond by, hopefully 2020. But if that is the mission, to build $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. And if it's my lifetime, we will continue to work on it. Today is our 173rd session. So we've been a long time. What can I say? You guys obviously like it. So we keep coming back and helping you and giving you some platform for where you can work with us and get some feedback. One of the most exciting things we have announced recently is the 1M Incubator in a Box. And this program is designed to enable everyone in any part of the world, that is corporations, small, medium businesses, angels, VCs, governments, universities, colleges, community colleges, any kind of entrepreneurship development organization that wants to do so, to easily, rapidly, and affordably launch an incubator. So if you are part of an entrepreneurship development organization, please feel free to take a look at this link, which actually gives you custom pages according to who are and what kind of an incubator you're considering as well. So there's a ton of information on this link. On that note, today on this call, we also welcome our friends at Oracle Application Labs. We just launched on Monday a program with Oracle, and many of you are attending the call today for the first time, I suppose. This is an intrapreneurship incubator that we have just launched with Oracle Application Labs, and it's being offered on a limited basis to the 760 people in the OAL group. With the kickoff session on Monday, there were about 150 people WebEx calls. So we'll see how many of you are here today. But welcome, and I hope you enjoy the session. Today is we're going to be working with 5 entrepreneurs. It's an absolutely packed session. One last remember is we have the Rackspace 1M Cloud Startup Challenge going on. If you are interested in applying for that, please feel free to do so submit your applications by May 17th. On May 30th, we'll have the finals. 5 finalists will be pitching, and the prizes are $1,000 per month of cloud hosting from Rackspace for 4 finalists, and then the winner gets $2,000 of cloud hosting and scholarship to the 1M program. So keep that in mind. The deadlines are coming up. This event is going to be recorded, and you will have the recording available. Live tweeting the show today, please use hashtag 1M1M. And if you follow us, the handles at 1M by 1M and at Sramana. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, the URL is on your screen. It's 1M Roundtable. And what you find there are recordings of tons of previous roundtables. It's very easy to listen to, and you can do it at your own time. And also there are some great entrepreneur cartoons, FAQs of the 1M program on the video channel as well. So it's a very, content-rich channel where you will find lots of information. For use later on in this show, there is a dial-in number for this call. Depending on how much time we have to do Q&A today, the dial-in number is 650-479-3208. And then access code is 664054258. We'll start today with Ajit Narayanan. Avas is his product, and Ajit is actually a member of the 1M Premium program. So Ajit has come a long way. he's been in the program for a couple of years and has developed some very, very incredible technology, which you'll hear about. And also, it's a product that is already selling in the App Store. Ajit, unmute your line and take it.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just give a very brief introduction. My company is called Invention Labs. We're located in the research park in IIT Madras in Chennai, in India. We make an app for children with speech disabilities, children with autism and Down syndrome, various other speech disabilities. It's called Avaz. The App Store for a while now, and there are a lot of people who are using it primarily in the US, but also a growing customer base in Europe and people in India as well. This particular session, what I want your advice about, Sramana, what I'm going to talk to you about is how to exploit some technologies that we have invented while we were building Avaz, and how to convert some of those technologies which have a much bigger potential beyond special education, which is what ours is targeted at, and to come up with a business plan which is hopefully a much bigger business. Not perhaps immediately, but how to start thinking about that over perhaps a 1-year time period. A little bit about this technology we invented. It's called free speech. If you go to the last slide, yeah, this is how language works really. You see that bar on the top which says "I want to play," right? The way Avaz works is that a kid would tap on these 4 pictures in that sequence, on that set of images that are there below, organized into various categories, and construct that sentence word by word. So, a few things coded into that sentence are obviously English specific. For example, word 2, it's an ism. I mean, it's not there in the language. It's specific to English and all of that stuff. So what we found out was that this was a severe limitation at some point of time for some kids. There was a small group of kids with disability like apraxia, whom this syntax, what called the syntax of language, was a limiting factor. So we were working on Avaz. In order to work specifically with these kids, we developed this technology called free speech. So if you can the next slide, free speech was our invention for that particular segment. But what's interesting is that, so free speech is actually a non-language-based system for representing information. See that the blue pictures there joined together not by language per se, but by questions. This very stylized way, by you can construct what you want to say without having to worry about how it's going to be expressed in language. Not just breaking down the abstraction of word after another, but actually taking away the meaning, taking from the fact that these have to be arranged in a certain way, modified in a certain way, in grammar in certain ways, etc. This is a sentence: I told the carpenter I could not pay him, right? So you can see that there is the I and tell and carpenter and pay, and dated in this way. So this invention really consists of 2 parts. One is this method representing information in a non-language way. Second thing is we came up with this engine which takes that graph input and puts perfectly grammatical English sentences which have exactly the same meaning what the pictures represent. You language out of the equation. In fact, if you go to the next slide, that's the advantage of free speech. I took this sentence. I told the carpenter that I could not pay him. This is in different languages, and you can see that it's completely different. And this is something that's very confusing. First of all, it's confusing if you're going from one language to another. But there's a lot of complexity coded into language which we don't realize because we use it every day. So it's a fundamentally simpler way of communicating. It's meaning and it's picture based. So it's theoretically something which is universal.
Ajit, I think I'm getting what you're saying, but I mean, how do you? So this is the blue top corner image is the carpenter. That's what signifies the carpenter.
Yeah.
Does that mean you have the entire vocabulary of the English language or any language codified like this in pictures?
We have 14,000 pictures, which we actually use in Avaz, right? Ourselves, without difference between Avaz and free speech is that Avaz 9,000 pictures are organized in categories, and you set them and put them word by word in the order in which it appears in English. So we already have that content, but we've also divided it into multiple levels. So someone who has a basic level entry into English would probably start with a few words, and then somebody who doesn't know English at all. So that's a core vocabulary, it's called. And then progressive levels, 500, 1,500, 5,000.
Okay.
So this deal with free speech and Avaz, right? So we came this concept to tackle a very specific use case of Avaz, which is that it was not working at all for children with apraxia. But it works well for children with other forms of autism. So it is working well even without free speech. Free speech hasn't been integrated yet into Avaz. It's still a prototype in some sense. It works, but it's a prototype. And it hasn't gone through because it's not a part of Avaz, it still needs work. It's gone through a rigorous QA or anything like that. But this is the point, right? I got from MIT, I was on the 35 list. I was at California giving a TED talk earlier this year. All of that is actually a claim for free speech, because Avaz by itself is useful but not quite as innovative as free speech is. So that's where we are today. And I also think we've got a lot of we've got in free speech outside of the fact that it's a product in the special education space. And the question is really how best to exploit this. So this is the challenge that I'm bringing to you. On slide 14, the best way to take this to the market and to make a quantum difference really in invention labs. Technology is available. It's enough where it can be made into a product. It's unique. Applied for patents on it. We have ours, that's traction. So the market recognizes our brand, at least certain parts of it. We have the team. We have money coming in from ours. And we have huge wind of publicity which is going to come away in a couple of months, and this TED talk goes online. So what's the best way to exploit this? The next, I think the is and we spoke about this, Sramana, the last time I spoke to you. We have to bring out a product based on free speech for the Avaz market. So we are going to bring out something which is at Avaz, the Avaz market. So it is targeted at special education in the US, but a much lower priced product with some kind of in-app purchasing and all that. So we're going to use our current customer base to make money and to validate the technology and to simplify the process of taking to market. But I will start investigating. You told me that it takes a lot of brainstorming and a lot of very cool thinking to come up with a business plan for a completely different market. But I want to start that process now. What else can we use technology for? What can we do with free speech, right? Beyond children with autism. And there are a couple of interesting things that I've been thinking about. The thing that keeps floating the top is language teaching. On the next slide. It's a big market, right? If you slide, Sramana. It's a big market, right? The estimates are somebody, and it's like a $90 billion business. There are players like Rosetta Stone who are already like public companies. So what's the niche? That was the challenge that you gave me the last time I spoke to you about free speech. How do you enter this market? So looking at niches in multiple ways. One way is to look at it geographically. Can the target geography a niche? So as an English as a second language tool for countries like India, China, maybe as an app or something that we push with a mobile company, with a maybe a service provider, with an innovative payment model, like like moments or something like that for every word that you learn. Or the predominant business model in India and China for teaching English is actually brick and mortar schools. So you have these academies where people go and enroll and they spend maybe 4,000, 5,000 rupees and they learn English. And could it be a booster for a business like that? Either we set up a business like that or we partner with someone who has a business like that and look at it as a booster. Again, another thing is just taking it to businesses. So all different possibilities. We have American market. We have other markets which are like India and China in some way, but like America in other ways, like Japan, Korea, Europe, where they have a way of mobile technologies. They have the behavior of countries like America, but they have the problems that countries like India and China have. So is that a possibility? Possible to target it at the American market, which still remains the most lucrative market for technology like apps, not as assistive technology, but as a game that kids play when they're in preschool or whatever without any disability angle. Or face different language. English is crowded, but we look at a language like Chinese or look at a language like Spanish, target that at businesses, target that for travelers, do some of the translation. I mean, I think the problem is, Sramana, I have a lot of options here. I'm trying to figure out how to narrow down to a niche, and I don't know what your thoughts are about that.
Right. So now let's kind of step back for a moment. You have so far the market that you're going after with Avaz is the special ed market, and your product is for the autism market. And we have discussed a game plan of how you can expand your footprint and revenue in the special ed market by coming up with other free products that goes into that same market and helps you accumulate emails so that you can communicate with this audience and upsell maybe another 3 or 4 different products or maybe 10 different products into that market. So that's your current business plan. And as you've learned in the process is how to segment market, how to position a product, how to bring that product to market, and so forth. So, how you do the validation and that process. Now, we need to apply the same mechanism to which other markets you may want to go to in terms of bringing the language teaching product. And let me give you some pointers, and you're going to need to do significant research in each of the areas. In the US market, is one place where there is a tremendous need for non-English speakers to learn English is in the Hispanic market, where the first language is Spanish, and which they're trying to learn is English. It's a very large market. America's Hispanic population has ballooned completely, and you are going to need to do some serious research on how to get into that market. And you have to decide whether you want to get into that market at the elementary school level, at the middle school level, or do you want to get into it at the high school level or in the adult education level. So, as you know, the way I steer you towards making these kinds of decisions is to make a complete assessment on the total available market as well as the competitive landscape and decide whether there is a gap and a go-to-market strategy that you can build based on that gap. So that research on the U.S. Hispanic English as a second language market is something that I think is worth doing for you. One of the pieces of research that you should go ahead and put in, and then we'll decide based on what you come up with what is the potential of that market and whether we want to go that route or not. And one of the pieces of that is going to be how do you go to market in that space.
Right.
That's something we need to research. How are people going to market? There are solutions in that market. So the question is, how do you go to market? Is that a viable place to go? That's number one. Another market I think is very interesting is there are a lot of people trying to learn Chinese actually. So this is English-speaking people trying to learn Chinese in the U.S. is also a reasonable market.
Okay.
You actually go to market through the App Store.
Right.
Where you need
Absolutely.
to go research what is the app store situation in terms of learning Chinese. Right? And there's the Chinese market in China trying to learn English. This
Right.
is the app store kind of market in China, so you need to research the Chinese app stores on operating systems and see what is the competitive landscape on that, and that could also be an app-related go-to-market strategy.
Right.
So in each of these cases, we need the competitive landscape analysis, and you can, as you develop those, you're welcome to come and discuss them with me, and we'll make a decision and we'll, create a product map accordingly.
Right.
India, what you say, there is this kind of this brick and mortar world of language teaching, and India has a lot of different languages. So if it's English as a second language, the first language is different in each of these cases.
Right.
Right. So if you're working on a Tamil-speaking population, or you're speaking on or working on a Marathi-speaking population or Bengali-speaking population, these are, each of these are different markets.
Right.
And you have to take that into account. You're going to need to, you again need to research and see this one that you're going to need to talk to the brick and mortar people in each of those markets and see if there's interest in using something like that. So if you were to give them a technology, would they use it? Would they pay for it? And would that be of interest to them? Go-to-market strategy. And to research whether there is actually a certain app-based go-to-market strategy for India as well, because smart penetration is also going up in India, even though it's primarily still feature phone-based.
Right. Right. So, if I may ask a question at this stage, you see, again, this is a question of cost versus benefit, right? I mean, what does it take to bring a product out versus what money we can make from the product? And we had this conversation in a completely different context about a few months back when we spoke about Avas in the European market, and the idea you gave me then was, it's not expensive to build a product. It's only $1,000 to build a product. Go ahead, build it, put it in the market, and see what happens. In this particular case, in the case of free speech, it's certainly not as inexpensive. It's probably, for me to bring out a product is not very expensive, and at the same time, because it's an app and because we already have the technology and we have the team, and any of these markets really, I could pick any markets and make a good product and maybe not make a huge amount of money, but make a little bit of money. I mean, I could pick, the market, any language learning market in America, and I could bring out a competitive product just as an app and, a little bit of online marketing, make some money. But I think I want to find out from you, is that the approach that would work, or because the other alternative?
You have one product in the market, and there is marketing involved. And if you don't do that marketing, then that product is not going to go very far.
Right.
If you have 10 products in the market, you're going to have to do that same kind of marketing for each of those 10 products. And not inexpensive. It is building the product. It's marketing that product. And expense is not just money. Expense is time. Expense is resources. And if you don't give each of the products that full, tender love and care to market, there's no point.
That's correct, Sramana. I think the point I'm trying to get at is, should we be looking at profit or should we be looking at how big the market is? Because, if I could build maybe a $1 million business out of Chinese language teaching in America by spending, say, $20,000 or say $100,000, that's something that's preferable. Or should I cast around to find a $1 billion business and funding, maybe have the things as backup options, but look at big fish which I pursue?
Business multiple different ways. You could have one product that gets you to $1 billion, or you could have a portfolio of products that get you to $1 billion. If you have a portfolio of several $50 million products, that would get you to $1 billion. If the underlying technology is the same, you can inexpensively come up with all these language apps for various different markets. Over a period of time, you have a portfolio of 20, 30, 40 apps. I mean, Rosetta Stone is not one product, right? Rosetta Stone is a portfolio of products. So your strategy will be the same thing. The real issue here is, what is the order of product roadmap?
I guess you know that.
Would be the best order of the product roadmap, aside from what we already discussed on the special education market, where you will have a bunch of $1 million products, most likely, not $20 million, $50 million products. As you go into the language market, I think if you can find a go-to-market strategy on how to go to market with the Hispanic product, Hispanic English as a second language product for the U.S. market, that is a very large market. I can tell you right now that it is a very large market.
Right.
Chinese people learning English, that is a large market. One thing you could, as you're doing this, one constraint you could put on yourself is to only go for markets or apps. These brick and mortar stuff, which is going to be not easy to sell. If you just go after markets where an app strategy, go-to-market strategy is going to work, that'd be a constraint worth putting, just because you know how to do that. There's different markets, and it's also got a lot of virality, and you've learned some of the mechanics of how to put a free product out there, collect the contact information, and then upsell them with additional stuff. That mechanism, that basic construct of bringing a product to market and how to design a product, you apply to all the markets and determine whether you can go to that market with an app strategy or not. That may be one of the determining factors of your strategy.
Okay. If I was taking that approach, then definitely talking about multiple products, right? We're talking about building a company by maybe 30 products, 40 products, a combination of different source languages, destination languages, different niches.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's okay to build a portal. You have a platform. This free speech is a platform on top of which you have the ability to rapidly bring out language learning products, education products. So that's what you're doing here, is to create what is the product roadmap for the portfolio, quantify each of the markets for each of those. So let's say you create a product roadmap of 20 products or 50 products. You determine what are the TAMs for each of those products and what are the go-to-market strategies. That then, if we take that to VCs, this is going to be a fundable story.
You mean a portfolio of products, each of which a moderate TAM, but just the number of products is big, is a fundable story. Okay.
Actually, you will see that when you get to the Chinese market, English to the Chinese speaking, or the Hispanic market, these are very large markets. These products could be $100 million products on their own. I done the numbers. You have to do numbers, do the bottom-up analysis, but try to come up with the strong of what is the portfolio of products, what are the TAMs for each of those products, what is the go-to-market strategy for each of those products, and see if that adds up to $1 billion. It will. I'm pretty sure it will.
Okay. There are a number of companies that in the last one or so have received funding, and I'm just wondering if if any of them have an idea if those are one product, multiple products.
Most of it is focused on markets.
Okay.
It could be they go a certain market, and that market has this kind of TAM, and then another market has that kind of TAM. In a way, what you hear are also, your product is language teaching. You're going to different market segments with different packaging. From what you told me, free speech applies to all of these products.
Right.
in a way, it's a platform that you bring to market, and then on top of that, you're bringing products to market. So, Doria, this is what we just discussed is a fundable story.
Okay, that's nice to hear. All right, Sramana.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Bye.
All right, Rajesh, you're up next on research and analytics. Tell us what's going on. Rajesh? Maureen? I don't see Rajesh on the line. Want me to move to somebody else, Maureen?
Hello?
Is that right?
Oh, Sramana, how are you?
What's going on with Om Analytics?
So, Analytics is a software company, analytics company at IIT Madras. So, I've been hearing a lot about you. I just a batchmate, and we've done our BTech together. So, in fact, he spoke about initiative some time ago. Since they're quite interested, joining one of these public forums, and how we can get benefited by this initiative.
Okay.
Right. So about me, I'm Rajesh, founder and managing director of Om Research and Analytics, an Madras established company. I have BTech in IIT Madras, then MBA at IIT Kanpur. About 8 years of experience working for 4,500 companies in India and North America.
Okay.
So OM, our company, is abbreviated for Advanced Analytics Using Mathematical Modeling. OM established the IIT Madras ecosystem with a strong focus on researching and devising the sophisticated analytical techniques to solve analytical solutions for various initiatives, includes finance, insurance, HR, social media, HR, etc. And our board includes Ashok Jinjinwala, who is internationally acclaimed, also Professor Prakash Rai. We have an impressive client team, including Government of India, the largest ticket booking company, a leading South Indian seed company, and a 25 client team in various verticals. And we do have a partnership with a major US-based company called Actuate that provides world-class business intelligence and reporting solutions to business. We are launching Genie Sites. It should be pronounced as Genie Sites. So there's the Genie giving sites to the companies. So on May 19th, that is a founding day, our first business intelligence product to serve in business, a highly scalable and extensible analytical product. We are also looking at cloud for this interface, right? And we also have partnership with Amazon EC2 interface, and we are going to host this in the Amazon interface as well. And yeah, so I have a marketing vice president Deepa on the call. Yes, I can say.
Hi, Sramana.
Yeah. And Deepa has about 12 years of experience in digital marketing, bagging clients in US, UK, and Europe. Company is present on a 1 crore INR annual revenue run rate, and we are targeting about $2 million revenue in financial year 2014. We heard about 1 million by 1 million initiative, lots of emails, lots of blogs, lots of posts, and we feel a lot of people how they could get benefited from this network. I'm looking for two things primarily from this initiative. A, that is getting business leads, and we want to scale up in American geography. That is one. Second thing, we are also looking at investors. What I'm not very aggressive looking for the investor network, but yes, definitely the business leads and some kind of guidance to see how we can get it to the next level. Yeah.
So do you have the product, or are these different verticals catered to in service format?
It's mainly at service format now. I mean, I can reveal the client team as well. Thomas Cook is a customer. We're doing a lot of service-based analytics. We have done scoring. We have done advanced algorithms in supported time machines. Even so, India, we do have presence. Being service-based.
Why are you in so many different verticals? One of the cardinal rules of marketing in the industry is to not go after multiple verticals. You want to develop core competency and develop a go-to-market strategy in one vertical, and really develop customer base in one vertical. But you seem to be in every vertical under the sun. Why?
Yes, because we do get like a greedy entrepreneur can't say no to the business, and yeah, so that's the point. I mean, we a lot of initiatives, developing sites, and apparently after one initiative, these projects are 2 to 3 months per se, right? So a lot of case studies, lot of initiatives, nothing like a repeat customer. While we have got one with a travel booking company, but these are short analytical projects. After completion, we move on to the other one. So
what I see here is that you have core competency in software, in technology, in mathematical modeling, and so forth. But the way you're building the business, we have a word for that. In our methodology, that word is pray and pray. And strategy.
Okay.
So if you were to work with us, we would first and foremost teach you our methodology and how to cast your business in a way that is scalable in a method repeatable way, not in the spray and pray mode. This is not how we build businesses.
Okay.
You're going to need to learn go-to-market strategy and in a very methodical way so that you can apply all your core competency in a way that is going to scale much faster, and you can potentially actually productize some of what you're doing to scale again to the next level beyond that. Because if you want to look for financing, that is something that is going to require a productization. Just outsourced services don't get financed.
Yes, okay. I appreciate that. But the thing is, when you say it might look without a strategy or a vision, what we do is we get the clients based on a fundamental core competency, that is advanced analytics. We don't take any initiative that doesn't involve core analytics without any analytics. So, and they build a product around it.
The analytics field is a very crowded field. So as you go about it with some segment focus, use case focus, and stuff like that, you will not be able to productize any of this.
Okay.
And it's not possible for me to in 10 minutes, in 5 minutes, I cannot teach you that whole process of productization. You're going to have to join our program and learn that through the program. And then, once you get some of that material under your belt, you'll come and work with me in these kinds of sessions, in the private sessions, and I will guide you. But really need to get some of the core, methodology under your belt and start casting your business with a strategy, with a real strategy. Whereas this one is currently, it's very hard and it's not going to scale that fast.
Appreciate that, because I could also see this happening.
There's a method. I think what you should be is there is a method of building businesses. You're obviously extremely smart. In IIT Madras BTech, you're obviously extremely smart. So it's just a matter of learning how to do this right and implementing that. He has taught you that. I can teach you that. If you learn that and if you internalize that and if you implement that, you can do what you need to do. It is rocket science.
Okay.
You don't have to invent the Higgs boson particle or anything. No, this is much simpler. A business is a lot simpler than inventing the next big thing in physics.
Yes. So can you elaborate a bit on that? See, I just want to understand, where is this strategy, how it's going to be of benefit to us. I would love to join the network.
Why don't you hold on for a bit, and I will talk about how to use the 1M1M program later in the presentation. Basically, you're going to have to segment your market. You're going to have to figure out which vertical do you have, the maximum opportunity in, and there is again competitive analysis. There is positioning work to be done. You have to identify gaps. You have to identify use cases, have real, gap and demand in the market, and really go after those. Good news about your story is that you have revenues and you have customers. That gives you a good stable platform on which to apply the next level of productization, which is very good news, because having revenues in the company means that you have a sustainable situation. So it's fantastic news. They're going to the next level. We will teach you how to do that.
And for this quarter, for the last quarter as well, we have taken retail as our segment. Now, we pick up one particular segment and focus on this. So the product one that I mentioned, Genie Sites, it's based on our past analytical work that we've done for ticket booking company. We're kind of productizing the sales vertical, so putting an analytical engine behind this. I would see some of the requirements of retail companies, like cohort analysis, agent effectiveness, market basket analysis. We're trying to bundle this for retail platform. Likewise, then Deepa is going to chase some of these leads now, and we have also purchased sales leads. So something that you are thinking those lines.
Whichever vertical, whichever product, whichever use case you decide to bring to market, you need to create a full marketing strategy around each of them. And I can guarantee you that if you are executing on one of them, $2,000 a year revenue is not what you're going after. You're going after several $millions of revenue per.
Yes.
And that's something that we're going to have you do the bottom-up TAM analysis. We're going to have you do the competitive analysis and competitive positioning. All these to help you really go to market in a high-velocity fashion. Not walking around in the market. We don't chase a market. We have go-to-market strategy and go execute on that go-to-market strategy. You don't just poke a market.
Okay. Yes, I would.
There is a method that you need to learn as soon as possible. And I think your story now is you're not applying a business building methodology. You're poking market.
Okay. I'd love to join the network. I just want to know how much of your time that we would get. I mean, we would really, if we want to join this network, it's just for you. So how much of your time you would get? Because you want advice.
Foremost, use our curriculum to learn the methodology. Why don't you hold that question? I will spend 10 minutes at the end of the session going over how to use the program and all these questions. So hold for a moment. Let me finish working with the other presenters, and then we'll come back to that question.
Sure. Okay.
So, Sunil and Pradeep Semwal.
Hello. Hi, Sramana.
Hi.
Yeah, Sunil and Pradeep, and this is very likely flowing into the next one. Can you say the previous slide? Yeah. So just to give some background, we are registered for more than a year, but operational for almost 6 months. And we come from expertise in analytics, technology, and there's few domains that we actually have our experience.
Okay.
Very high level, our objective is to use our expertise in our these domain technology and analytics. In addition to that, we have also background in management, which means.
One moment. Anybody other than Sunil who is on the audio, if you're dialed into the call, please put yourself on mute because somebody is streaming echo into the call, noise into the call. We would like you to cut that, please. Okay, go ahead, Sunil.
Sure. So, in addition to expertise in analytics, that is math, technology, and domains, we have expertise in management in the sense. I came back from USA to set up a company here in India and set up a company from first employee to almost 100 size employee. And that is purely a software development for a product-based company. So overall objective is to use a combination of this expertise that we have built to become an entrepreneur and create a business of our own. Since there's quite, I can say, we are also in a similar problem like we saw in the past. We have like expertise in more than few areas, and drilling down exactly what to pick and where is the market and where do we really use energies to build is something that we have been also exploring on.
And do you have today specific expertise in the risk management area?
Yeah.
So, and what about the verticals? You have wholesale banking, wealth management, margin trading, prime brokerage. Do you have expertise in any of the specifically any of these areas?
So, even for each of these areas, there is one common underlying use of this risk management. So that is the part of the product that we kind of building, which means
areas is different.
Areas are different, but the product is something that's used in all these areas.
That's not true. That's true. Them is going to require a different risk management product. The same risk management product is not going to be used by all of these people.
So what we're going to build is actually three-layered product. So if you kind of when we go to slides down, 10 more slides. One more slide. So the kind of product we are going to build will indicate almost like three areas. One is the full end-to-end management system, and that will be like maybe not the first step, maybe the last step. And the other would be the risk management software alone, and that would be our library of evaluations and analytics. Could be can be a plugin into other risk management software. So let's say if I have to value an instrument. The of an instrument is pretty same whether it's a treasury operation or whether it's an wealth management operation or whether it's being used by any of the broker dealer space. So there is a layer which is kind of common for all of them, and the software is built out of that layer. So if we can go back, so that's what I meant. So we do have experience. I mean, like I've been working on the product space of building this management software, which where we had like varied clients, and some other clients were broker dealers, and some of them are wealth management clients, and we also had some corporations using this product for their treasury operations. So there is a roadmap.
Was it a service company? You were basically developing custom software for web clients, or were you actually developing products?
It was a product-based company, and then a full-fledged product that's sold, and sometimes customizations is just done and based on the requirements. So based company.
What's missing here for me is again a clear presentation of what is it that you're building and what are the markets that you're going into, what kind of strategy. So if you have an investment banking product, if you have a risk management product for investment banks, how big is that opportunity? Go-to-market strategy. What is the competitive landscape for that product in that investment banking? You're telling me that you work at a company that has all these products. If that is the case, then you obviously have competition in that market. So right now you have a random stream of thoughts on slides here.
So yeah, some of this what you've listed is exactly what I think we also. I am aware of these things. Really, there's competition for sure because this is nothing new, and we have to be competition based on algorithms that we're going to build, and based on the market acquisition that we probably start from the small scale of operators and then move to the mid scale level and then to the high scale level.
as far as I'm concerned, everything you're saying is kind of rambling. Probably not put in the rigor of building strategy. You
because really, this product is not built yet, and this takes almost an year to build
should not build anything until you actually figure out what is the strategy of this business. I don't recommend that you write a line of code.
If you're asking me strategy of how is this going to be sold, who are the customers and who are the potential customers, what is the space it's going to be used, yes, it is clear. But how are we going to acquire, how are we going to
Not
market?
clear at all. From your presentation, it is not clear at all. What you hear is a very high level think out aloud. You do have a strategy here.
So,
you put small clients, mid-level clients, large clients, all this kind of random stuff. You have to decide on exactly what segment, what market segment to go after, what is the customer base that you're going to go after, what is the product, what is the value proposition, what is going to be the pricing, and you're going to need to talk to these clients. You have to clear comparative positioning for that particular segment as a market entry strategy. And if you have a very clear understanding of what that is, right now look at what you have: small clients, mid-level clients, large clients. Who cares? Most generic thing. This strategy.
Yeah, as I said, we don't have any strategy for marketing. That's sure. As I said, it takes almost an year to build.
Build anything until you have a strategy for marketing it. You will then build something which will not be able to market. Way of bringing a business to market.
So
we focus very heavily on validation. Validation and really understanding your positioning. The only way you can do validation is if you do positioning really well. And part of the problem with your presentation is it doesn't have a positioning. You need to get to granular positioning, talk to customers who are, fit that positioning, validate your opportunity. Then, and if they say that yes, we want this, there is a gap in the market, they're looking for this solution, none of the other existing vendors are able to provide that solution, and this is what I'm willing to pay for it, that's when you build the product. To that, you have to do a thorough analysis of all the different segments that you're talking about here and figure out where is the gap, where the opportunity to go into the market. Remember, we are not in an era of virgin technology. We are not in the 1980s or even in the mid-90s where the internet was coming in and everything was up for grabs. We are a mature era of technology. Every segment of business has lots of competition, and to figure out how you're going to, what that competitive landscape, what that ecosystem map is, and where are the gaps and how you're going to win in the market. Do not build anything. It's not worthwhile. Okay?
So, this makes sense.
Okay. Mughal Shankaran, what next? Mute and let Shan take over.
Hey, how are you? Very good evening.
But fix Nick.
I'm from Fix. Can you hear me, Ramana?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Cool. Thank you. You can go slide. My name is Shankaran. To make it, I have founded an organization called FixNix Info Sections. I am a certified Chief Information Security Officer. And, I studied in IIIT Hyderabad. I pursued my education in Masters in Computer Science with a specialization in databases and information security. I should be the first campus recruitment of my in India. Microsoft IT used to be a startup when I joined them. And then I spent close to 6 years heading the information information security team. I was the one who have set up the information security team, and then post which I went and had some couple of leadership roles in IBM with security architecture and security advisory. Which whole of the decade I spent in information security. Later, to test whether I am fit for startup waters, I went and worked for e-commerce platform company in Hyderabad, Marjack. So as a chief information security officer, putting their security strategy and systems. Now, while working with them, I have found out my business problem, and then I thought I should go build this product. So that's how I ended up next in solutions product. Before starting my thing, I'll talk about who's the customer I'm targeting with this product. So whoever is in the need of a kind of a solution, a governance risk and compliance solution, they are customers. And whoever is in the need of a data protection solution and who need a information security management system framework, they will be our potential customer. And who want to comply with the ISO 27001 certification if they have already pursued it, or who is in the mandate for applying with respect to regulations like PCI DSS, HIPAA. So they also are our potential customers. You can go to next slide, Sramana. Our value propositions are: we are building this governance risk and compliance product and in a cloud hosted manner, where we would like to build it agile, easily deployable, and make it affordable for the clients who are going to subscribe different services out of this governance compliance product, and bring down the cost since we are hosting it in cloud and trying to get into the market where the dominant players are selling this whole of this GRC suite for $1 million. So we are trying to get into the small and medium business market where we are trying to play the volume game, try to be cost effective for the small and medium business. Instead of bombarding them with $1 million ticket security product, we thought of offering it on a subscription model where they can customize controls and suites what they want to subscribe, and then so we are trying to make it user friendly and pay as per use the regular cloud.
What segments of the small medium business market have compliance needs?
Yeah, right.
It's a question. It's not a comment. What?
Okay. So you are asking whether okay. There are a lot of small and medium business who may not have even a regulation mandating them, but there are companies like who are into CRO, payment card processing, even a decent e-commerce.
Not able to hear you.
I am trying to bucketize all the non-Fortune companies as small and medium business, Sramana here.
Yeah, you're going to have to identify segments that have compliance needs. Not all small businesses have compliance needs. That's the point. Question is, and this is a fundamental question for your business, is kinds of small medium businesses have serious compliance needs that they would want to spend money with you?
No, I was down that now. Talking about. In fact, I have did a small segmentation analysis before started this product. If you can move to the next slide, probably I will be able to brief about that. So, yep. I have the geographic also I identified in the previous slide. So the slide which is talking about the segmentation analysis is continued. These are the different industrial sectors which has a huge need. This data comes from ISO body. So ISO has done a survey every year, and they are coming up with the statistics based on different ISO management system certification numbers. So with respect to ISO 27001, the certification or management system for information security, this is number with respect to India. So there are 13,000 plus organizations who have achieved this certification across India. If I am just trying to start this, just targeting India, so there are 340 companies as of end of 2011. Basically, those 340 companies pretty much is coming from information technology. There are other industries who also have strong intention towards collecting data, but there is a huge, humongous need with respect to 87% of the companies who is trying to implement information security management system, saying that they are seeing a very positive outcome out of implementing ISO 27001 and using our products with respect to information security.
Okay, just a second. So you have 300 plus information technology companies that are going through ISO certification and have needs for data filing and data compliance based on that. How many companies talk to? What are they looking for? Have you talked to these people, and do you know what they're looking for?
Yes, I did speak to close to at least 30 companies. I did a sample analysis out of the 30 companies. Right now, when I went and analyzed all of these 30 companies, how they are monitoring all of their controls, information security controls, what they are supposed to maintain, even as part of this regulation, what they have got certified upon. They don't have any product which is affordable. There is GRC products, but there is nothing affordable which is at their reach. Probably they do not want to invest $1 million. They are making 1 crore Indian rupees as their revenue. They may be willing to invest some Indian rupees as an investment for any IT technology, or even probably they may be willing to invest 1 lakh Indian rupees for a security product per se out of that 5 lakh IT budget. So I am trying to count all of the small and medium business even falling outside IT information technology spectrum. So there are a lot of companies who are willing to pay that 1 lakh, but they are not finding right solution which is in them monitor all of their IT security controls as well as enterprise process controls with respect to information security.
Okay,
that's
good.
where I am trying to pitch in.
The market size, however, is relatively small. Even if all 300 are part of your target segment, which is not, because not all 300 are going to pay, and if you assume, let's say 1 lakh, which is $2,000 roughly per company, that is a very small market. Huh?
That's right. In fact, we are not just targeting the ISO 27001 companies who have already pursued or who are just willing. We are trying to target whoever even have a smallest need of information security.
Talking about compliance,
have small investment to
opportunities. The segment that you just described will not pay $10,000 for your product. They will pay maybe $1,000 or $2,000 for your product.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, 2,000 to 20,000 is our pricing what I am targeting Sramana. So in fact, as part of my exercise, I have went and analyzed what is that they are willing to kind of pay if I am getting them a solution where they can monitor all of their IT security controls, including antivirus installations, data loss prevention, different security solutions what they have independently. Now they have invested on a lot of independent solutions which is of no use. Probably they are missing that single management system product which is talking to all of the independent security products. See, the big corporates, Fortune companies have a very luxury of going and buying that $1 million ticket from IBM SAP. Or
I got it. So I think you've made your point that there is a small medium business category that is looking for some of a security compliance monitoring solution. However, my assessment based on what you've shown us so far is it's a minuscule market. You can build probably over the course of time, you can probably build a $500,000 million business, but this is a fundable company.
I may not agree. Now, if you go to the previous slide where I have started the segmentation analysis across the world, it's not just the Indian market I am trying to target. So there are close to 17,509 organizations across the world who are certified with respect to information security. On end of 2011, year on year it is increased. Probably by end of 2012 it is close to 20,000. So in fact, if you see countries like Japan, so there are close to 7,000 organizations out of the 70,000 are from Japan. Even if they are paying a small amount of probably $1,000 or $2,000 or $20,000 based on the number of controls.
Hold on. So you have 20,000 companies in your target audience. What is the assumption
Yeah,
that they'll be willing to pay for this product on average?
They should be able to pay $2,000 at least.
50,000 times 2,000 is 400,000, 400 million?
Yep, that's right.
You're saying is your target audience. Can you ask what is the competitive landscape in there?
The competitive landscape is there are big players like IBM, Oracle, but they are selling for million. They have not looked into customizing this, tailoring the solution.
Not only competitive landscape. We have companies in our program who are selling into the pharmaceutical, medical devices industry compliance solutions. So your comparative analysis in that case is incomplete. There are companies that are selling into the market compliance solutions out there. It is not just SAP Oracle.
No, it's not. There are solutions who are just doing the IT part of it, either IT part of it or enterprise part of it. In the GC world, there are a couple of markets. Information technology security controls or enterprise process controls. Enterprise process controls means probably it's about risk management or management, whatever the theoretical process related monitoring aspects with respect to regulation. Those are enterprise GRC market, and IT security controls means it's the IT GRC market wherein it's about going and looking at monitoring all of the devices and monitoring those IT security controls of all of those devices with respect to technology aspects. So there are players, even small players, with respect to different segments, enterprise or IT. But there is nobody who's trying to consolidate both and helping the small and medium business, because small and medium business itself already in pain. They do not want to buy another two management system solutions for with respect to security. They want some single player where they can.
They're going to have to compete with all these players. My point is, it's not a virgin. So where is it? You have a is it selling? What's the situation right now?
My situation is, in fact, I'll go to the next slide. The challenge is not the challenges one. The target customer definition, I'll complete that slide. If you go back to the previous slide.
I understand your business. We've discussed your business. So what are you in business? Do you have a product? Do you have validation?
Yeah, I have a product. I have already deployed it in a couple of places. They have validated it, and they have given right feedback, and they are helping me improve it. They are acting as anchor clients and helping me improve the product. I am trying to establish anchor clients.
Are they?
More revenue. They have paid me.
Okay. What kind of revenue are you doing right now?
Probably right now the revenue model is I'm trying to build my services, information security services portfolio, through which I want to bootstrap the company. That's why I'm more keen towards. Probably I do not know, that's taking a lot of time. Information security services vertical, being it is probably, it's again another cost center initially, probably investing on a lot of resources and the working capital for getting all of these resources. So that's where, in fact, without institutional investment from outside, I want to really build it. Probably I'm trying to bootstrap, but probably 6 months on now, we have matured the product. But I thought taking your inputs with respect to this. Improving upon the product needs a lot of working capital and resources. And probably right now I have got the product to some stage where people are willing to try out and pay. But to take it a real big scale global market, Japan or Romania, the countries where I am targeting, where there is a serious inclination towards information security, I feel like I should have more inflow of
we're going to have to
some
do steps, right? You're not going to, from day one, you're not going to be doing this on a global scale, because you're going to have to, this is a product that needs to be sold. It is not a product that can just be marketed. It has to be sold. So you're going to need to build the first 10, the first 50 clients, and the likelihood of that happening in India is higher, because you are in India and you're going to be able to, you already have talked to, you said 30 customers. And what is your plan in terms of converting those 30 customers customers into paying customers?
Right now, I am limited because it's not a fully functional product as per my product landscape, whatever I have planned. Right now, we have implemented a couple of major modules through which this variation can be done. So that I will at least get myself proved that okay, there is a need and people are willing to use, and people are using those couple of modules, whatever we have built with a kind of limited.
Right, there are customers said who are already paying you for at least some amount of money. So I want to see those 30 customers start pay you some amount of money, use that as working to improve the product, and get to a product that customers are willing to stand behind. And then it's not fundable. This may be a fundable business if you can re-establish it. You need to do more granular work to establish that, what are the international markets that you're talking about, where do you want to, how do you want to go to market, and there's all sorts of strategy questions that need to be answered. But first and foremost, you be able to scope a product that customers are willing to stand behind. And the 300 customers that you've identified in India that are ISO compliance situations, of which you've talked to 30, and they said in some format, they've said that yes, this is something that they're willing to stand behind. You have to make them really stand behind those.
Sure. In fact, there are kind of I'm in a chicken and egg situation where they are willing to stand behind me if I have a kind of since I'm building a product under improvement.
If you can add to spend more time and you can create the fund story and go talk to investors. I'll be happy to help you do that. But remember that you're going to need to articulate very clearly what is it that you're building that customers are willing to stand behind, and customers would need to say that, will need to be that process. Otherwise, validation exercise doesn't work.
Sramana,
I'm open either way. We bootstrapping, raising funds. If you decide to work with us, I'm happy to take you in a direction. But
okay.
The methodology of you have to put a full investment deck together that has certain requirements, and we will provide you with what those requirements are. But you're going to have to go do your homework and present a compelling investor story and investment thesis. Now what I've
in fact, thank you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You're up next. Did you mute your line?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. Thanks, Sramana. Thanks for the opportunity to present the case here. I'm very happy to be here. So let me start by telling a little bit about myself. So I'm also from IIT Madras, and I studied in Columbia University, did my master's in computer science there in New York. For 15 years, I've been working in different companies, in multinationals and in primary companies and service companies. And for 15 years, I've been working, and found was there's a big problem with the email overload. If you can go to the next slide, I can start talking about that. So based on experience in all these large enterprises and medium enterprises, I saw that it's getting complicated because of the flood of emails that people are getting. So based on our experience, me and my co-founder, we thought we will solve this problem. So we sent a survey to around 50 people that we knew who are in senior positions in companies, and asked them whether they face this problem and commitments, opportunities. So survey out of 50, 35 people came back saying, yes, we have a problem, and if you can solve that, we might be interested in the product. So they decided to build the product. If you can slide.
How do you deliver on this problem, or how do you deliver on the value proposition, Pankaj?
Yeah, I have that in the next slide. Just go to the next one. The slide of that is value proposition. Quickly, let me talk about target customer. So anybody who gets 100 plus mails a day and has the problem of missing commitments and missing emails. And experience, we are looking at senior managers, directors, and above in large companies. people like salespeople and CEOs or these in small firms, and some people independent who work with several customers. So this is a proposition. What we do is we rank the mails in the order of importance to you. So we rank them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we do is we look at your past experiences and apply some little learning, figure out what is more important. So one example is, let us say you are working with some important customer, then typically you reply to that customer within a day. If it is some vendor who you really don't worry too much about, or it's some just you met at a conference and he's trying to talk to you, you might reply to that person maybe after a week or something. So those kind of things, how frequently do you correspond, how fast do you respond, we use that heuristics. I'm just giving a simplified example here. There are around 25 heuristic rules that we use to figure out what is important to you and rank that. Other thing we have done is, version-wise, because we are targeting end users and people for whom email is very critical, we tried not to go the cloud or those kind of things. We said that Microsoft Outlook is the number one email client in enterprises. So we added as a plugin that and we don't take any data out of the computer. So everything is on your laptop or computer, and you continue to use your Microsoft plugin and get another view where you can see all your mails in the rank order.
Okay.
So we small screenshot I put. So we create a folder called it's a search folder. So you can see that there's another added and got them based on rank. So instead of looking at the mails based on the pin which they arrived, now look at them in the of importance. So it says we have been in public beta for last 2 months, and we feel that Outlook is like being all over the world. So that was one of the reasons why we picked this space. So right now we have given it to 50 plus beta customers. They are basically coming from our friends and friends of friends. They were in US and India, and companies like Cisco, AT&T, McAfee, Microsoft, Infosys here. So they're trying it out. Been doing beta, and we are fixing issues, adding features based on the feedback that people are giving, and so forth. So that is the current status. You do next slide.
Consumer product, is it a consumer product, or is it a business product? B2B product?
It's actually difficult for me to define that way. So it's actually a consumer product in the sense that we are trying to sell it to an individual. So our customer would be, let's say, a VP of engineering or a VP of sales. It's the person use it and buy it is an individual, but that person works in enterprises.
Assuming that the user buys himself or herself.
To buy for himself and maybe expense it to the company. So if you have sales and I get a lot of mails, the productivity for me, and I'll buy it on then the company pay for it.
What is the price?
About $3 per month or $25 a year.
But you have $3 per month. It's a product. It's a plugin that people download and be done with it.
Yeah, so another thing that we are still trying to figure out. Our other model is to charge them $50 one time, and be done with it.
This is not a cloud product, right? It's not a service. If you
it's not a service
basis, I don't think. Somebody has his Shan. I think your line is on you. You're streaming echo into the call. Oh, you seem to be streaming echo into the call from, according to Maureen. You have a computer open as well as a phone line open, it seems.
Okay, good. Maybe help me.
The computer line mute.
Yeah. Is that for now?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, it's not. You need to put you on mute. Okay. Let's have questions here. Can you put your line on mute altogether? Put yourself on mute. So here are questions. Founders don't have product sales experience. Your customers are business users and enterprises. How to reach out to customers? What should be your strategy for customer acquisition? So again, there are specific methodologies of going to market. There are methodologies of tried and true ways of going to market with different kinds of products, and the whole suite of those that we teach in the program. So learn the entire suite and decide which ones apply to you. It's your go-market strategy, your customer acquisition strategy could be through guerrilla PR, it could be through some sort of, depending on the back, and I'm answering this question in a slightly more generic basis for the benefit of all of you. There's a set of customer acquisition strategies out there. That is a relatively finite set of strategies, and you have to learn those and evaluate those and see which ones of those apply to your business. That's how we do program. Basically, we teach you all of those. You're welcome to learn all of those, and you decide which ones apply, and we'll help you decide which ones apply to you, to your particular product. But it's not possible for me to, in 3 minutes, teach you all of those strategies. And do not have product sales experience. This is not a problem, because the technology industry, by and large, has technical founders from the beginning of time. For 30 years, the technology industry has primarily had technical founders who have then gone and learned how to do marketing. And what is interesting right now in the world is most of the marketing methodologies that you're going to use are going to be online marketing methodologies. That's the most cost-effective to go to market. That is something that actually plays to the advantage of technical founders, and you can learn how to do it and then implement it. So it's a matter of learning, just like I said earlier to somebody else, that you can learn. This is not rocket science. You need to just learn the mechanics, and you need to follow the methodology and implement the methodology. That is something that you're going to have to put in place. All of you are extremely bright, extremely capable technical people. What's missing here from, if I look at all 5 presentations and I look at what's really missing here is business acumen and business experience, and that's what we are teaching you. In the program, what we are teaching you is equivalent to an MBA, basically, in early stage entrepreneurship. So actually spend a few minutes explaining to you how to use the program, and then you can ask me questions specifically after you've listened to that piece of the story. Let's see. So here are resources. First and foremost, if you are looking for material to learn from, the blog is free, and a lot of people are learning just from our blog. We start synthesizing some of the learnings in the Entrepreneur Journeys book series, where you have case studies, analysis and synthesis of the learnings out of those case studies. So these books have somewhere between 12 to 16 case studies and specific elements of what you need to learn. And in particular, by the way, this book series predates the 1M1M program, which is why this is when we first started to synthesize the methodology. And of course, in 2010, when we launched the 1M1M program, we really got a lot more synthesis and a lot more comprehensive material on how to go about bringing products to market. It's a minute, but in the book series already, there are 2 cornerstone elements that we emphasize on. Those are bootstrapping and positioning. If you raise money, you're going to have to bootstrap, and you have to position well up to a point so that you can actually convince investors beyond that point. So the Mitra.com, you can access it from, this is what the website looks like. You've probably all seen this. And there's a blog tab from where you can access the blog. These roundtables, these free roundtables happen every week. While it's not possible for us to give you a full, I can't really teach you customer acquisition strategy in 5 minutes. But what you, the first presentation and Ajit's presentation has already done a lot of the curriculum. So he's asking questions specific to his business that already has methodology under control, and when we have the real productive, meaningful discussions. So, Raj, I think you were asking how much of my time you will get. You get my time, but we want you to absolutely use the curriculum to master the basics. I'm going to spend time with you teaching you the basics. The basics are, we've made the basics available to you in form of a very comprehensive curriculum, and you use these roundtables, both the free roundtables as well as the private roundtables that are for premium members only, where you come and work with me. That you have unlimited access to those sessions. You can schedule time, and so far we've had zero complaints from entrepreneurs about finding a slot in the roundtables to come work with me. But there's work that you're going to have to put in to master methodology elements that are already offered to you in a web self-service mode. So, free roundtables, we are on our 173rd roundtable. As you know, there are thousands of people who are using these roundtables and happen every week. So please feel free to continue to use them, and you can register for those through the website, the free roundtable tab on the top navigation bar. The premium program, we give extensive methodology guidance through the curriculum. Then help you with all the strategy consulting, this kind of interaction. But it's so. For example, if you go to curriculum and go through the entire customer acquisition module, then you know that you are on the same page with me on what are your options. Then you apply that to your business, and you come and you create a straw man strategy, and then you come and pitch it to me, and I will brainstorm with you, and I'll tell you, yes, these strategies will work in your business. Those strategies will not work, and for such and such reasons. So let's kind of create a go-to-market strategy that uses these elements, and then that's going to be your determining factor in terms of what your execution path is. This is how we work, okay? And I'll tell you more about how we've developed the curriculum so that you understand why it works so well in the program. So we have mechanics of helping you with business development. So we have tremendous Rolodex. My LinkedIn profile has something like 14,500 connections. And we welcome to our introductions to anybody through the human base. I'll be happy to introduce you. In addition, we also have investors. One stage where you are fundable and you have your deck and ready to be shown to investors. We will be happy to introduce you to investors. Our specific requirements, there's a whole financing module you're going to need to study. There are requirements of what financing pitch looks like, and you have to meet those requirements. You have to create a financing deck, come run it by me, and we have to agree that yes, okay, this deck is now ready to go to investors. That, again, on the financing side, that's how we work. Media relations, we have extensive relationships in media, and we'll be happy to introduce you as well as we cover you extensively. So getting visibility through the 1M channels, both through online media as well as through social media, is something that most of you will need to take advantage of, and we have comprehensive offerings in that front. Meet some of our $1 Million Club members. You should go to the link that's on your screen. There are a bunch of companies that have crossed $1 million, $2 million, $3 million in revenue, and you'll get a flavor of what those look like. The 1MM value equation is quantified at $375,000 plus to 10% of equity per year for a price of just $1,000 annual membership fee. It's a tremendous amount of value. If you use the program the way it's designed to be used, there's a tremendous amount of value in it. And I give you orientation material on how to use the program effectively as well. I recommend that you take the 1M self-assessment. Again, it's available on the blog. The questionnaire is available for free. It's a 9 point questionnaire, you have to ask yourself all these questions and see if you can answer them. If you can answer them, we have provided you with curriculum modules to plug your knowledge gaps in each of those areas. Anybody who in the premium program gets to use those curriculum modules, and see here is that every curriculum module helps you plug knowledge gaps. Those knowledge gaps are, we from our experience of working with you is that there are pieces where there are common knowledge gaps, which is why we have structured it so that you can quickly and efficiently plug those knowledge gaps. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn these pieces. Like you have to learn how to size your market. There's no going around it. And let me actually explain to you. So on the website, you have lots of information about the premium program, what to expect from the premium program, video FAQs, and so forth. In curriculum, the way we help you plug knowledge gaps is through video lectures and case studies based curriculum distributed in several modules. It's in two parts, the core curriculum, and then we have the elective modules. On the brown bar here, you have the list of the topics. Core curriculum has 7 topics. And no matter what you're working on, you have to master these topics. Bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, financing, customer acquisition, and team building are essential pieces to learning how to bring a product to market. Today, I'm pointing out many of you are in the spray and pray mode. You boil the ocean. You're going to sell your product to everybody and their mother. This is not a positioning. This is a strategy. You cannot bring any product to market with that approach. You get very granular. You have to do your segment in precise terms. You have to know your competitive landscape within that segment in very precise terms. We teach you all of that in the curriculum, and you have to learn it. There's no choice. Then you have the elective modules, where depending on what you're working on, you will find case studies as well as video lectures on those specific modules. And those are where we point to an e-commerce. We see a lot of companies in that space. Cloud computing and business solutions. Today, we saw a ton of companies in the cloud computing and business solutions space, basically building software for either enterprises or small, medium businesses, and in each of these cases, there are specific strategies of how to bring products to market, specific strategies around pricing, specific strategies around positioning, and we want you to learn all of that. Our creative modules include outsourcing and consulting. If you're building a services business, still are methodologies of how to go about doing that. Mobile social apps. The first presentation was a mobile app business plan in the language learning and disability communication space. Healthcare IT, and education/educational technology, gaming. These are all areas in which we see a lot of deals, a lot of businesses, and we therefore have codified some of that into these case studies, video lectures, method. Now, everything we do is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. And what we've done, by the way, is we have, for the last 4 or 5 years that we've been doing these online mentoring sessions, as you heard, this is our 173rd session. That's a lot of coaching, right, over several years. We have recorded every single one of these. We have analyzed every single one of these sessions and have a very good understanding now of what are the commonly asked questions, what are the common issues that you're struggling with. Because technical founders, because you've gone through a formal training on how to bring an entrepreneurial business, entrepreneurial venture to air, you're missing some of those methodology elements, and we want to give you those methodology elements so that you can follow them. And the way we have built that is by using the understanding of what your issues are. And then we've also, over the last 7 years, we've done case studies of success entrepreneurs and how they have built their businesses, how they have tackled those issues. So I'm not teaching you this program alone. We have 600 success entrepreneurs who have contributed to developing this curriculum. And it's their case studies, their solutions, their advice that you're getting in a very concise format. You budget about 50 hours of core curriculum and 50 hours of elective curriculum that you don't pace. You know, you have a year to use the 1M1M program. Do it at your own pace. You do need to master the case studies and the video lectures to be able to really leverage the power of the program and apply it to your business. This slide on your screen shows you some of the coverage of the premium members. It's accessible from the press tab up on the right corner. You'll get a flavor of what kind of coverage we generate for our premium members. And we have the Twitter channel in which you get to access our social media capabilities. We have a tremendous cloud in social media. You know, Facebook page, Facebook profile has something like 17,000 users, followers, as it's called in Facebook parlance. As I said, LinkedIn is 14,500, 8,000 Twitter followers. Our Facebook has, between fans and the friends of fans, we have a reach of something like 1.5 million people. So there's a very large reach that we can help access, and who are interested in doing that, then you will need to basically learn each of the modules on how to use the 1M1M channels, how to use the 1M1M PR channels, how to use the 1M1M social media channels, and we strongly encourage you to learn all of these pieces so that you can really take advantage of the program and get yourself out there. Invest in monitoring these DR incubator series that we profile you, and an affiliate program for partners who are interested in, you know, maybe you have a blog or you have a large readership who are entrepreneurs. You're welcome to become an affiliate of our program, in which case we pay 10% affiliate commission. Our free roundtables are May 16th, 23rd, and 30th. Typically, we have somewhere between 3 to 5 presentations in session. If you are working on applying for one of our contests that are going on right now, incubation contests, whether it's the Rackspace one or the Oracle one or the SAP one, there's also an SAP one going on right now, Startup Focus contest. You're welcome to also come and present your pitch at a session and get some feedback as you're developing your application for the contest. Feel free to use the roundtables as much as possible, as much as you want to learn and to run things by us, to get some coaching in the interim. And those of you who are going to be joining the premium program, either by yourself or through one of the corporate programs that we are doing, to be able to use a lot more comprehensive resources. So that's much it. We are kind of out of time today, and I don't think we have a lot of time to do Q&A in terms of people dialing in. It was a very packed session. But if you want to use the public chat to ask questions very quickly, if you need to go, please feel free to go ahead, because I know you have other commitments. But I will stay another 2-3 minutes and ask questions. If any of you have any pressing questions, please go ahead and put that in public chat. And meanwhile, any of you who want to talk to us about the premium program, and if you have questions, you're welcome to call Irina. Irina's Skype ID is Irina_Patterson. Her phone number is 786-301-2456, and her email is irina@1mby1m.com. So you're welcome to contact Irina and ask your questions in person from her as well. She'll help you understand the program and evaluate the program as well. Okay. Questions, comments very quickly before we wrap up? Burning 100,000 INR every month is troubling me and want to get into fundraising mode soon as it's hitting your personal pocket. Well, you're getting ready for fundraising. From what I saw, you're not ready for fundraising. You're going to need to put in quite a bit of work before you're ready for fundraising. Instead of bootstrapping, you have to continue bootstrapping and continue fundraising in parallel. You cannot stop building your business. Then you will not succeed in building funds. You have to continue bootstrapping and raise funds in parallel. If you stop bootstrapping, then you will stop your business because it's quite a bit of time to raise funds. That's a good 6 to 9 months before you're going to get any funding. And that's why you've started getting on the road show. You're probably going to need several months before you're ready with your fundraising package. We're going to wrap up for today. Please feel free to register for any of our next roundtables. May 16th, May 23rd, May 30th, and again all of June on Thursday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time. We will roundtables, and you're most welcome to register and participate, both to pitch as well as to attend. Please make use of those, and we will see you next week. For the pre-members, we will see you on Wednesday at the private roundtable. Thank you for coming.